Hello, and welcome to this presentation of the Orientation for Applicants to the Secondary Education Teaching Credential Program. My name is Anna Thaler-Peterson, and I'm the Fieldwork Coordinator for the program. I'll be giving you some general information about our program and walking you through the basics of our application process. If you have questions, my contact information can be found at the end of this presentation. I'll be glad to answer any questions you have. We're very excited about the recent transformation of our program into a distance-accessible online hybrid format. What this means is that you can enroll in classes, complete fieldwork requirements, and interact with professors and university supervisors from anywhere in California as long as you have easy access to reliable and high-speed internet. We will still have a small number of in-person meetings, including a beginning of the program intensive, where students will get training in the technology tools we will be using and complete our capstone class, Multicultural Issues in Education, which is taught in an intensive, week-long, all-day format prior to the start of the school year. We will likely also have a few in-person community meetings throughout the year. If you're interested in applying and living locally in Humboldt County, you can expect to be placed in local schools. You will have 3 possible class meeting formats throughout the semester, either face-to-face with accommodations for distance learners, online in real time, where you'll be watching presentations from your instructor, raising your hand to interact with them virtually, and engaging in discussions with your classmates in virtual breakout rooms, and asynchronously online, when your instructor will post an assignment and you'll post or turn in a response. Whether you are a local or distance learning student, our program is heavily reliant on technology, so it is important to your success that you be comfortable with computers. Here is an outline of the program's coursework and fieldwork structure. It's a year-long program, with the fall semester focused mostly on coursework. That's when you'll be working to build a theoretical foundation to understand the history and background of the field you're entering. You'll also be spending 12 hours a week in a classroom with a mentor teacher, observing and helping out. In the spring, you'll have just a couple of classes, and your fieldwork increases. You will actually take over 2 classes from your mentor teacher, and that's when you learn to teach, by teaching. So now you've gotten a quick overview of our program, I'll walk you through the process of applying. The first thing to know is that you'll actually submit 2 different applications, one to the university via an online site called CSU Mentor, and one to our office. They're different applications, and the one for the university is online. There's a link in our application, which is a PDF file on our website. As our program is a post-baccalaureate credential program, you will need to have completed your bachelor's degree by the time the program begins. This means that you can apply the February before you graduate. For details on that, contact me, and I'll let you know what to do to make sure you're ready to sign up for classes in the fall. You will need to have maintained a GPA of 2.67 or above for your last 60 units of coursework. There is an appeals process available for anyone with a GPA of below 2.67, so contact me to find out more. Prior to entering the program, you will have to complete 45 hours of early fieldwork in a secondary classroom. That's a junior high or high school classroom with a credentialed teacher. There are a couple of ways you can do that. Some undergraduate majors with teaching pathways have courses, as do we, SED 210-410, which is 2 numbers but 1 class, that help you set up with a local teacher. You'll then visit their classroom to observe and lend a hand, and check in with an instructor at HSU once a week or so. The other option for completing this prerequisite requirement is to get approval ahead of time from us to connect with a credentialed teacher independently and do your 45 hours of early field experience with them. Either way, there's a form for you to fill out in the application. You will need to be CPR certified for the duration of the credential program. The class you take to get certified should cover adult, infant, and child CPR, and online courses are not allowed. It's worthwhile to find a course that gets you certified for 2 or 3 years. If you can only find a 1-year-long certification class, make sure to take the class during the summer before the program starts, so that you're certified all year long. With all of these components, we prefer them to be complete when you turn in your application on February 1st. If that's not possible, we'll need to see evidence that you're in the process of completing them, enrolled in a fieldwork class, or signed up for CPR. The same goes for the next few components of our application. An especially important prerequisite for our program, now that we're distance accessible, is demonstrating computer competency. There are 2 course options for doing that, Education 285 here at HSU, or Education 120 through the College of Sequoias. Both are generally offered every semester, and both are online. You can also have completed a CIS minor, or you can take and pass an exam called the CSET in Preliminary Educational Technology. You will need to have completed a course in the U.S. Constitution. If you did all of your undergrad at HSU or at another CSU, you've probably completed that. If not, do check with our office. If you're not sure, we will need to see a description of the course you took, as well as a copy of your transcript. You will need to obtain a certificate of clearance from the California Commission on Teacher Credentialing, the CCTC, prior to your acceptance into the program. The steps for this process are outlined clearly in our application. Basically, the process is this. You will download a live scan form and go to get fingerprinted at a police department. Yes, yes, you'll probably have to do it again, even if you have already been fingerprinted for something else. Then you'll submit the results of that online to the CCTC. This is something you'll want to get started on ASAP, as it can take weeks. If you have a prior arrest record, there may be some extra paperwork for you to complete. Contact me for more information. The CBEST is a general knowledge exam. It's offered about every 2 months in area testing centers, including on HSU's campus. If you don't have time to take it before February 1st, we'll need to see evidence that you're registered to take it soon after. The last component of your application is evidence of your knowledge in your subject matter. There are 2 different ways that you can demonstrate subject matter competency. One is through the completion of a designated education major, like English education. The other is through completing the CSET subject matter tests. There are usually 3 subtests in each subject, and you'll need to take and pass them prior to starting the program. Either way, you demonstrate your competency on our application. You will then proceed to a subject matter departmental review. There are different requirements for each review. For English, there's writing samples to submit. For art, there's a portfolio, etc., but they all include an interview component, where you stand in front of a panel of faculty from that department, and they assess your knowledge verbally. They then pass on a recommendation to us about your subject matter knowledge. Once you pass the interview with them, you would then move on to an interview with the secondary education program itself. Generally, once you submit your application on or before February 1st, the subject matter departmental review process will take place mid-February to mid-March. If they pass you on to us, you'd then interview with secondary education in late March. Provided that that went well, we'd start working to place you in a school with a mentor teacher in April. You'd then interview with them and the school site administrators to ensure a good fit at your placement. If that goes well, you can expect to be admitted into the program in early May. I talked briefly earlier about the CBEST. Here's the website information for them. If you're near a testing center that offers the computer-based CBEST, you can take it almost any day. You'll just have to make an appointment. The HSU Testing Center only offers the paper-based tests, however, so you'll need to register for the testing dates that are available on that. The CSET is entirely paper-based with its own testing dates. More information can be found on the CSET website listed here. I'll now walk you through the various components of our application packet. First, there's an application checklist to help you stay organized through the application process. You'll include personal information and will need copies of all your transcripts. Photocopies are fine. You'll need to include evidence that you've completed or are very close to completing all of your prerequisite exams and courses, and tell us how you are demonstrating subject matter competency. You'll include documentation of your 45 hours of early field experience and some health verification information, a record that you've had a TB test within the last 2 years, and your MMR health verification information in the form of a vaccination record. MMR stands for measles, mumps, and rubella. There will also be some questions directed at eliciting your experiences and skills, and we ask you to write a professional goal statement. You'll also need to show us where you are in the process of obtaining your certificate of clearance. Again, start early, as it can take a long time. When you do submit the application, be sure to hand in 2 copies. One is for our files, and the other will go to potential school sites. Keep a 3rd copy for yourself, for the sake of record keeping. We like to see recommendation letters of 2 main types. From people who have seen you be a good student, and from people who have seen you work well with young people, in schools or in other settings. If you haven't had a lot of experience working with young people, ask someone who has seen you act professionally, being punctual, responsible, trustworthy, and just generally awesome. Ask your recommenders ASAP. Those letters can take a while. There's a form for them to fill out in the application, so get that to them. And also note that this SED application recommendation letters are confidential, so they'll need to send those in sealed envelopes directly to us. Here's a photo of someone who's thrilled to turn in their application, and on time too. Remember, February 1st is the deadline. This happy applicant is handing his application to the assistant coordinator, Bryn Coriel, who you'll get to know if you stop by our office in person. Now, regarding fees, there are a few costs associated with applying to our program. You'll pay $55 to apply online to the university via the CSU Mentor website, $41 to take the CBEST, the General Knowledge Test, and around $70 for each subtest of the CSET if you need to take that to demonstrate your subject matter knowledge. It costs $80 to process your certificate of clearance, but fortunately $27.50 of that goes toward your credential fee of $57. You'll need to purchase liability insurance for $20, which is charged as a class fee, and pay a $31 commencement fee, which is required so we can process your credential. Books and materials generally cost around $1,544, and tuition, which has gone up substantially in the last few years, is currently just under $8,000. There are scholarships available for students in our program. You can find a list of them on our website as well as in our application packet, which is in a PDF file on our website. This is an overview of the application timeline. Again, the applications both to us and to the university via CSU Mentor are due February 1st, and we really prefer for you to have your certificate of clearance completely done by then. Then, as I described a few slides ago, you'll undergo the subject matter departmental review in February and March, then interview with the secondary education program in March and April. You'll interview with school site staff in April and would learn of your acceptance in early May. May 11th is the date of our first meeting as a community. Then, before the public school year is over, you'll need to spend one full day in the classroom with your mentor teacher to get familiar with how they do things. Then, and we're working on scheduling this exactly, in July or August you'll be starting the program with the orientation and class intensive I described earlier. Thanks so much for watching this presentation. If you have any questions about this information or anything else, feel free to get in contact with me or with our assistant coordinator, Bryn Coriel. Good luck with the application process, and take care.